All right, welcome to our podcast. I'm here with the Become a Calm Mama podcast. And go ahead, Jen.
And I'm here for the Raising Happy Teens podcast. We've done this collaboration before on a different topic, but we have a lot of insights and comments. So why not get together and have another discourse on parenting?
Yes, our topic is social engineering and parenting. And right before we started recording, I was like, okay, what is our big picture here? What is it that we're like wanting to frame? And I closed my eyes and I got quiet and I was like, the parents that I work with are so fucking afraid.
Yeah.
And then you were like, yeah. And I was like, okay, let's just go.
Yeah. And that's really the gist of everything that we're going to be talking about here is the behaviors that we see and that happen as a tendency of parents that comes from fear. And it's that underlying fear of, I'm going to mess my kid up.
Yeah.
Or I'm doing it all wrong. And so, we're just going to be talking about some of the things that we're seeing, the tendencies, what's coming up, and that it's fear-based, and talk a little bit about what can be done to trust yourself a little more.
Yeah. So when we talk about social engineering, let's first just define what that is and like how we see it play out a little bit. And then we'll kind of get into where it's coming from and why it's harmful and that kind of thing.
Yeah. So let me just explain what social engineering is. And basically what it is purposely orchestrating your child's environment for maximum popularity and success and minimum disappointment. So it's like putting up the bumpers on your kid's life so that they don't go off the rails, right? Or also engineering or constructing their life for them.
Yeah. I almost feel like it's more than just bumpers, that it's like you like figure out who's at the bowling alley, which lane they're going to be in, like, what they're going to, how they're going to dress when they go bowling.
What ball they're going to use.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Like how shiny it is. I mean, like I believe that bumpers are really helpful in terms of scaffolding and guiding and that kind of thing. But what we're seeing is almost like an intensity of not only are we going to we're not going to even let our kids bowl unless we know the entire experience is going to work for them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in environments that go beyond just extracurricular, right? There's social life, their academics, athletics, whatever area it is. And where it really comes from is just that fear, that parental fear that we were talking about, that fear of them feeling something uncomfortable or the fear of how it will make us look if the outcome is less than ideal.
Or the fear that our kid won't be in the right groups or like the right, like they're going to, like all the other kids are going to have advantages and our kid is going to get behind, that they're not going to have, access and opportunity to all of these other like future things. I want to get into it a little more, but I was going to say an example of the first time that, I don't know if this was the first time that this was true for me doing social engineering, but my son was in first grade at a new school and he had met this older boy who was like in third grade and he was sort of the naughty boy. And I put it in quotes. It's a podcast you can't see, but he wasn't actually naughty. He just was rambunctious and, big energy and all of that on campus. Yeah. And my son was drawn to that energy and it was like 2 grades above. And it made me nervous. I didn't want him to associate with the naughty kid. I didn't want him to be with the older bad kid. Like I felt really scared. And I remember saying to my friend, what do I do about it? Like, how do I handle this? And she was like, I just want to encourage it, but like allow it. They're in 2 different grades. It'll fizzle out. Yeah. And it was really good wisdom that she offered to me. And I think there's truth in that of like, just don't encourage it. There are friendships that we don't need our kids to be in, or like, it's okay to set boundaries and limits around groups and friends and things like that. But I think some of the the reasons we do that, like my fear underneath that behavior for my son was like, oh no, he's going to get wrapped up in with the bad kids. And I would go like kind of all the way. I'm like, that's definitely drugs in the future.
Right.
It's definitely high school dropout.
Yeah.
Uh, I just got really caught up.
Right.
Mhm.
And that can show up in their friendships. I know one of the things, this is, we're talking a little bit about when they're younger, because that really is when it tends to start
Mhm.
having that fear. One of the things that happened when my daughters were in school is the very, very beginning of the year, you would get the notification of what class your
Mhm.
kids, right?
Yep.
And the district I worked for, it was like, you're in the class you're in, there's no changing. But the district my kids went to, you could have like up to 2 weeks to change, which to me was a giant mistake, because if so and so wasn't in so and so's class, the parent would want to move the kid.
Mhm.
Or if they're not in the cool teachers class, or if
Yeah.
they're not in the popular kids group class,
Mhm.
they would want their kid to be moved,
Yeah.
be in the better class so that they could associate with these kids and be
Mhm.
with this teacher. And it's really coming from it. The idea is that it's coming from what the parent is wanting for the kid more than what the kid is really needing or what could benefit the kid.
Yeah. Yes. Like you don't actually know what's in service of your child.
Mhm.
And when we do a lot of engineering and a lot of, social manipulation and moving our kids around and making sure they're even on this soccer team or they're in this dance program and all
Mhm.
of that, we don't know what opportunity we're denying them or what growth opportunity they're maybe not experiencing. It's like, yeah, you had all your kindergarten friends. There were six of you all together. And then I do see this happen. And I think it's legitimate where parents are like, but my kid, like all like they put five girls in one class and one my
Mhm.
daughter's in the other class. And I don't think they're lying. I think sometimes that happens. Mistakes get made
Mhm.
in creating classes. And but we don't know who the other new six are going to be
Uh-huh. Yeah.
in that first grade class. Like we don't know yet. And that could be their best friend for life. And
Right.
we get scared right at the beginning. It's gonna be
Yeah.
okay. And we want to like jump in, like we there used to be helicopter parenting, right? Hovering close. And now it's bulldozing, like straight up going in with a giant earth mover and like making this big path. And that's what we're really talking about really today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Paving the path for your child
Mm-hmm.
to maximize their enjoyment of life.
Yeah.
And fear is one of the reasons why this happens.
Mm-hmm.
Also, guilt.
Yeah.
I'm not doing enough. That's
Mm-hmm.
another really big challenge that people, parents, especially moms,
Mm-hmm.
struggle with.
Yeah.
I'm not doing enough. I could be doing more. Insecurity can come up as well. Just thinking back on your life and when you felt left out, or when you felt like you didn't belong, or that you weren't in the cool crowd or on the team, and how hurtful that could have been, and trying to protect your child from experiencing that,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
where they could really benefit and learn and grow from going through that, just like you did. It was hard, yes, but you made it through it. And
Mm-hmm.
there are positive outcomes from that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think I want to talk about the fear for just a few minutes because it's like I almost feel that there's an energy in mom world right now where there's just so much undercurrent of anxiety, like a scarcity at all levels. So we look at from early ages, our thought is, oh, I have to make sure they do everything right all along and be in all the right programs to get to college, which
Yeah.
is funny because we have teenagers and you coach teens and parents of teens. And like even if the path is totally paved, it doesn't necessarily mean that they get in.
Yep.
Like I know kids with 4.5 GPAs, da 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 da, all the things, and they don't get into their school of choice and
Right.
they go stay home for a year to, regroup and go to community
Yep.
college or whatever. Not a problem. Or maybe they've worked so hard that they have mental health crisis at the end.
Yeah.
They don't know who they are. They have identity issues, right? So even if we orchestrate all of the outside because we're afraid that they're not going to be okay, the problem is that we're not actually building them up from internally.
Exactly. Yeah. And they could
Oh,
walk on this amazing path that we've bulldozed for them and then
mhm.
be miserable and
Yes.
realize this isn't my path.
Yeah, I don't like who I am. I don't like my environment or anything because they haven't really had that opportunity to explore. So like our fear, it, I want to validate it as for parents because it does feel like it's our responsibility. Like when we talked about the guilt, it's like that's because we believe that it's our responsibility
Yeah.
to make sure our kids are okay.
Yeah.
And then so we have this like idea that it's our job, and then we misdefine what okay is.
Yeah, exactly. And then taking it all on as our responsibility only adds to that anxiety
Yeah.
and that fear.
Yes, and the pressure we have, and then we become overparenting. But I see it because I work with a lot of parents of younger kids, and it starts so young. Like
Yeah.
in 5 years old, they go to karate, and then they're in two sports, and then they have a tutor, and then a lot of them are doing OT, like occupational therapy,
Yeah.
and they have a lot going on every day.
Yeah.
And then they go to school, and there's the pressure, they're trying to be little kids and things. And then all the other moms are talking about all the things they're doing. So then you think we should be doing it. And it's like a fish doesn't know it's in water or that it's wet or whatever they say, like a fish
Uh-huh.
doesn't know it's wet. And I think parents oftentimes think all of this is normal, but they don't realize they're putting it on each other.
Right.
And leadership, I think we're getting into solutions, but like leadership is really about like scooting back up, big picture. What is it that works best for my family?
Yes.
What do we really need here? What does emotional well-being actually look like?
Yeah.
Yeah, that family dynamic. What do we want to make room for? Yeah, but when we're stuck in that, it's almost like the rat race or whatever, but with parenting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my God, we got to keep up. We got to keep up. And my kids, because then it happens. All these kids are in one class and they go after school to something, and then your kid slowly doesn't get invited, and then they do go to the dance, but they're not gonna go to the birthday party after because it's only for the kids in that one class.
Yep.
It actually happens.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And what you're explaining is very much keeping up with the Joneses, but it's more subtle.
Yeah.
It's not, so visible as the house that you have or the car that you
Yeah.
drive. It's the little nuances of who talks to who
Mm-hmm.
and who is invited to that thing. And it
Yep.
can really come to like the awareness more than
Yeah.
before, because when and talking about parenting groups, it happens with parenting as well. Your kid's not invited, therefore you're not invited, or you're not
Mm-hmm.
included, and then you're on the outs. So it's not just happening with your kid, it's happening with you. And
Yep.
really just having the courage to be different and to
Mm-hmm.
not do what everybody's doing and to
Mm-hmm.
not try to be part of a popular group, not expect your kid to go to whatever college because it looks good on paper and makes you look good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my gosh, you are the most successful parent. Your kid's going to MIT.
Yeah.
That's not the measure of being a successful parent. And having the courage to be able to define for yourself what success is and letting your kid define for themselves as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really a win-win versus I'm dictating what success is. You are going to check these boxes.
Yeah. I do think it's helpful in my work. I do kind of say like, hey, here's what I think is success. Like I kind of
Yeah.
define it in
Uh-huh.
my programs because I define it as emotional health.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I believe that at your core, if you are emotionally healthy, which then I define as being able to manage and process all emotion,
Yeah.
like knowing what to do with it. So that means knowing what to do with loneliness, knowing what to do with disappointment, knowing what to do with boredom.
Yeah.
knowing how to be okay with yourself, no
Mm-hmm.
matter what is happening on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
And then my belief is that when you have emotional health, then you have other successes become easier because you're willing to take risks. You're willing to
Right.
um, develop passions and interests and your yourself, right? Like overcome obstacles, set goals. I mean, all the things that we really ultimately want for our kids to
Mm-hmm.
have good relationships with others. How do you
Yeah.
have that if you don't have a good relationship with yourself? How to
Right.
have a good work ethic? How do you have that if you have a poor self esteem or your mom has always done everything for you?
Yeah, exactly. And that's where the confidence comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Having the confidence to feel your emotions. And I know that one of the fears, the parents that I talk to, one of the fears is that what they're seeing in their teen is out of the norm. Is this normal? Is this normal?
Yes.
And that fear does feed into the kid. And my teens
Mm-hmm.
are like, am I normal? Is this normal? And it really does start with the parent being able to have comfort in their ability to feel all the emotions. And when they can, they're able to hold space for when their kid is having big emotions.
Yes,
It's
I would
still
say be
safe.
comfortable. Be
Yeah.
comfortable with your kids' discomfort.
Yes. And
It
that's the hard part is to be able
is.
to
It's
step back and separate yourself because you
so
you want them to
painful.
feel happy. You want them to be successful. And when you see disappointment, it's like, I don't want that
Oh,
for you.
it's so devastating when you realize. I mean, I have had this myself when I realize I'm at the park and I notice that all the moms are talking about something they did earlier that day. And
Yes.
all of a sudden I'm like, holy shit, I was not invited.
Mhm.
Like, I have that. I feel like mom groups, especially like young elementary mom groups, that's
Yeah.
when it's really being defined, these mom groups. It is like being in high school again
Yeah.
sometimes.
It is.
And I was like, I'm not
Mhm.
included.
I
I was
know.
in so much pain.
Yeah.
Um, and so like I was talking about yeah, mom groups are not like there's mean moms out there, you
Oh
know?
yeah.
It's real. Um, but thinking about what I remember with that group, I was like, oh, I don't feel safe in this group. I'm not gonna continue to put myself into this position. Like I only want to be around people who like me. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be around this group. But then I was like, oh, this is almost also my kids' friend group.
Uh-huh.
And so I had to like navigate these waters. And I remember going to the park and saying to my boys, so I'm not going to sit with the moms I usually sit with. I'm going to sit with other moms, but you guys are going to be there playing with your friends. And I brought the dog as like a distraction. It was so funny. I like walked around the park with the dog and I brought my chair and I sat separate and stuff. And it was just very obvious. I was like, I'm not going to play with these moms anymore. They're not nice to me.
Yeah.
And my kids were like, didn't even notice, like, they don't
Right.
care, you know?
Yeah.
And then I found out that there were other nice moms
Yes.
that I hadn't even noticed. And I think that's what we're talking about with the first grader who's in the class, who's like, oh, these kids are not being nice to me. And we keep working at being in that group. It's like, well, there's sometimes a gap
Mm-hmm.
between leaving or recognizing these aren't my friends,
Mm-hmm.
or this isn't the community for me, or this isn't the sport for me, or this isn't the extracurricular for me. And waiting for the next thing. And in that waiting, it's so painful.
It is. It's that space of discomfort.
Yeah.
And this really shows up with the parents and the teens that I work with in small things like the clothes that they wear or how they
Mm-hmm.
choose to do their hair. The
Mm-hmm.
fear is if they look this certain way or if they present themselves this certain way and they're not fitting in, then they're going to be picked on or left out. And then I have the unique advantage of being able to speak with the teen as well and hear them say, but I don't want to wear that, or I don't want to align with people who care about what my hair looks like.
Their values, they're developing their values, they're developing their self-concept and their
Yeah.
esteem
Yeah.
based not on the external validation, which I love about Gen Z, and hopefully Alpha's coming up behind them. I
Yeah.
love that about them. I call them like the I don't give a fuck generation.
Absolutely. They're like Gen X second generation,
But
We
like,
were
yeah,
very
to
much
an
like that too.
extreme. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, to an extreme. And it's like it's amazing and it's super refreshing, but it's also scary
It's
being
so
a parent
scary. Yes,
of
because you're
that.
like,
I
danger.
know.
Yeah,
If
you need
you were
to
to do that
conform.
20 years ago, this would have happened.
You'd
But
be bullied. You'd be
that's
like
not
extra,
happening as much.
yes, yes, exactly. And bullying exists, and there are actual risks for our children when they are socially isolated, socially excluded. And that's not what we're talking about, right? We're
Right.
not talking about, a campaign against your child by
Right.
a group of kids who
Yes.
are purposely and, aggressively campaigning against your child and
Right.
isolating them. That's bullying,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not okay. We need to protect our kids. This is different because this is like, I need to, in advance, make
Uh-huh.
sure that I inoculate and engineer a situation so that my kid is never put in that position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they end up being someone that they're really not or resenting you
Yes.
because,
Yeah.
I had these shoes that I really liked. And my mom said, don't wear those shoes.
Mhm.
You'll get made fun of,
Yeah.
and that does present fear. It's just parenting from fear. Then it places fear in your child as well. Fear
Yep.
that you're not going to be accepted unless you totally conform.
Yes. Well, and that's why I always like to talk about the antidote to fear is, I believe, unconditional acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I 100% see the kid in front of me and I love and accept them, I think love is easy. I think unconditional love is really easy.
Yep.
But unconditional acceptance, like who you are exactly as you are, not your behavior. Like, okay, yeah, you can't hit your brother and you can't like throw crap at your teacher or like, whatever.
Yeah.
We're not talking about that. Like that, I don't need to unconditionally accept your behavior, but who
Uh-huh.
you are is at your core. If you're differently abled, right? Like you're neurodivergent in some way. And I'm like, uh-oh, this isn't okay. We've got to change you
Right.
so that you can be socially accepted. That means I'm not unconditionally accepting you.
Right. And
Like this baseline.
I did a podcast a little way back on parental expectations and how it can
Mm-hmm.
really impact how you show up for your kid.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to let go of your expectations of what parenting would be like, what your kid would be like, that idealistic view that you
Mm-hmm.
had before you had kids or when you were younger and you
Mm-hmm.
thought, oh, this is what my kid's going to be like. This is what
Mm-hmm.
parenting's going to be like. And being able to let go of maybe they don't want to be part of that group. Maybe they don't want to associate with that. They don't like that extracurricular activity that you
Mm-hmm.
loved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Accepting them and who they are at their core.
And then holding space for who they're becoming.
Yeah.
Like, I unconditionally accept you now, and I fully believe that you're going to find your way.
Right.
And then it's like, I call that positive parenting vision in my program. Like, just like
Mm-hmm.
really set out at the age 25 or 10 years from now and picture them overcoming
Mm-hmm.
all of these obstacles.
Right.
And when we hold that vision, we go, okay, we practice that vision, we believe in it. Then in this moment, when your kid doesn't get invited to a birthday party or isn't included in some sort of social event, I remember looking, so my son is a senior.
Mm-hmm.
He was a son tongue twister. My son Sawyer is a senior. Um, and I happened to be on the Instagram for the senior year, class of 24 kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
I was scrolling through first day senior sunrise or something like that. And
Right.
I didn't see any photos of him. And I was like, is he not popular? Like, is it? I don't know. Like, I got all like, ugh. And then I thought, okay, he does, it doesn't matter. Like 5 years from now, no one will know whether he
Yeah.
was senior at, I don't even know, maybe he wasn't even there. That, like,
Yeah.
truth be told. Uh, I just, well, I got like that first feeling of like, or eek or something. And then
Mm-hmm.
I was like, listen, this doesn't matter.
Really doesn't.
Like, if we believe that he's strong, he's overcoming, he's growing, he's
Right.
becoming who he's supposed to be, like, it's all okay. I can
Yeah,
relax. I don't have to get all like, hey, why don't you be friends with so and so?
I
Because I
know.
noticed that they're,
Yeah, that's the engineering. Or
yes.
why don't you be friends with so and so so that I can be part of that group?
Yeah, right.
They have
Like,
fun parties.
you're not going to homecoming? Well, after like when everyone takes the pictures, the parents all get together for a drink. Like, how are you not going to
Uh-huh. Right.
homecoming?
What am I going to do?
Yeah, like, should I go to the park still and take pictures? Like, you're not even
Yeah.
there. That's weird. So then we want them to go. And then we also think all these rites of passage are really important and significant, that they matter a
Right.
lot. Yeah.
And that really shows up for the older kids when it comes to driving, going
Mhm.
to homecoming,
Mm.
going to the football games,
Yeah.
that idealistic, again, view of what high school is supposed to be like and what being a
Mhm.
teenager is supposed to be like. But maybe they're not ready, or maybe they don't want to go to that. Or
Mhm.
again, it always goes to what is it that I really want for my child?
Mhm.
And how can I support them in getting that? And that's why I love that idea that you just mentioned, the long-term vision,
Mhm.
and keeping that in the forefront so that when things come up and you do get triggered and you do get that fear, is how might this support them in achieving this long-term vision? And
Mhm.
how can I show up and sit alongside them through this journey versus pulling them in the wagon behind me?
Mhm. Yeah, sit alongside them is such a beautiful image because really, I think some of the things that like the problem or the error that we make is thinking that our kids should not feel discomfort,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's not okay, that something has gone wrong if they're sad, something has gone wrong if they're lonely.
Yeah.
And really, it it's a good thing, especially if we can come alongside
Yeah.
and hold space for that pain and say like this pain is totally valid.
Yeah.
You are entitled to feel this way.
Right.
Not instead of going, well, those parents are bitches.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Those kids are me.
Or they're
They don't
just
know.
jealous.
They're just jealous.
That's my favorite one. They're just jealous. Or they're
Right.
intimidated. They're
And we're
intimidated.
just we're sort of gaslighting or like bypassing our kids' negative emotion because we're
Uh-huh.
uncomfortable with it and we don't want them to get stuck. We don't want their self-esteem to be affected.
Right.
That's the misconception of like I understand why parents want to act this way with
Mhm.
their children, why they want to say they're just jealous or
Mhm.
they're lost or whatever.
Mhm.
There's room for that, but
Yes.
not right in the beginning. Like in the
Right.
pain, it's like, yeah, this pain is just real and it is awful.
Yeah.
And
Because
you're,
when you're
mhm,
justifying it or you're setting up, you're giving reasons why it's happening, that's basically your way of saying, don't feel that uncomfortable feeling. You need
mhm,
to feel something different. Here's some
yeah,
ways that you can feel different. Instead, of course, you're going to feel that way. Anybody in your situation would feel that way. It makes total sense.
yes,
Right.
yes.
And then you're there for them. You're there
Mhm,
sitting next to them. I like to envision like there's a bench and they're on the bench and they're
mhm,
crying. And
mhm,
instead of going over there and saying, let's get off the bench, let's go play, let's go, do this
mhm,
thing, you sit on the bench with them until they're
mhm.
ready to get up.
Yeah. And that's what I love is that we often don't believe that they're going to ever be ready. And I think we should trust the brain and trust the balance that the brain is always seeking for emotional regularity. Like
Yeah.
the brain and our body and our mind, it desires healing. It desires going back to like homeostasis, going back to balance. And so,
Mhm.
yes, we have these big moments of turmoil, and then their brain will do some work
Yeah.
inside to move themselves to another state, emotional state, because the feelings are temporary and they pass. And
Mhm.
if we believe we have to intercept and we have to do something to
Mhm.
change that feeling, we're really not letting their whole process happen, where it's like you can feel sad and you can then move through it and then go to a new emotion.
Right.
But like,
And that's it. Like we had talked about strategies to, like, if you notice your tendency to want to engineer or to
mhm,
intervene, that's a
mhm,
perfect strategy. That's a perfect way to start, is
mhm,
to give them space to feel whatever it is they feel and
mhm,
to trust yourself to allow them to feel that.
mhm, mhm. Yes, I think trust them. Like
Yeah.
looking at your kid and being like, you are strong enough to overcome this moment.
Hmm.
And then they borrow your belief.
Hmm.
they borrow your thought about them. Like,
Yeah.
this is really terrible, but I'm stronger than this terrible.
Yeah.
And it's like, yep, you can both and right. You can feel terrible and you can move through it and
Yeah.
maybe make different decisions for yourself. I don't know. Maybe find a new friend or
Yeah.
maybe there's some sort of thing in their behavior that is off-putting. I don't, you know?
Absolutely. And that's where parenting with curiosity can really come in handy.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think really is going on here? Or
Mm-hmm.
what could be done differently? Or how would you like to handle this?
Yeah, exactly. Right. And like letting them problem solve with you there. But when we get scared, oh no, they're not invited. That means, and we play out that worst case scenarioing,
Right.
like, they then either have to soothe us.
Yeah. It's okay, mom. I'm okay. It's all right.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. It's not, and they like
It's
brush
not a
away
big
their little
deal.
tears,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah.
Or they're like, uh-oh, the person who knows me best in the whole world, the grown up
Right.
that I rely on, has like the oh shit face.
Uh-huh.
So we're in deep trouble here.
Yeah.
Then that perpetuates itself in like they either people please, overwork, overproduce, right? Or turn to like get the fuck it's, right? I always say fix it or fuck it, like, you know, like one or the other. Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
So we don't,
totally.
yeah.
I love that. And it all really starts with your internal work
Mm-hmm.
and
Yes.
you learning how to pause before
Mhm.
emailing the teacher.
Yeah.
Pause before reaching out to that parent and asking why your kid wasn't invited, or going and, having a conversation with the kid and being like, why are you leaving my kid out?
Mhm. Yeah.
Right?
I think a question you could ask yourself, like, how could this circumstance serve my kid?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what are the positive benefits about this difficult thing? And
Uh-huh.
like, just when in that pause, I'm thinking of like, okay, what are we doing in that pause? Like, we're soothing our own nervous system because we're scared and upset, right? So we're calming
Yeah.
ourselves for sure. But then how to coach ourselves or reframe just enough to see if there's some room.
Yeah.
Like, how could this benefit my kid? What are the positives of this? Like, what
Yeah.
could end up now? If you come up with nothing, then maybe it's
Right.
right. Maybe they do need some intervention.
What's the opportunity here?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, it goes to, if there is no opportunity, I would venture to say that most experiences in life are there to teach you, and you just need to be willing to be open to the fact that it is an opportunity to learn something, whether it's about
Mhm.
yourself or about the world or about other people,
Yeah.
to be able to reflect upon that. And again, that comes after you've processed the emotion.
Yes. Yes. I just listened to this interview with Oprah
Uh-huh.
Winfrey, and she was
Yeah.
talking about how,
Oh, Oprah Winfrey. It wasn't a different Oprah.
yeah, do you not know? Let me
Thank you for
clarify.
specifying that.
Madonna is it's just Cicero, in case you need to know, like whatever.
Oh,
Like
okay.
there's some people, Beyonce. Do you need to know her last name? No, there's
Yeah,
some
yeah.
people who just have their first name. It's amazing. But yeah, so she was talking about like this movie that she put her whole soul into bombed.
Yeah.
And then also like she was trying to do this fundraiser and she got a lot of hate backlash about it and things like
Yeah.
that. And she was like, what is there to learn from here for me?
Uh-huh.
Like
Yeah.
always looking and what is the opportunity here?
Mhm.
And what am I supposed to learn?
Mhm.
And that if we could give that to our kids, like, yeah, this is hard. She's like, I was devastated. I didn't get out of the bed for a week. I like, fed myself mac and cheese or whatever. She's like, I process my feelings. And then I moved to the other side and I'm like, what is there for me to learn here? And I
Uh-huh.
think that's a really good lesson for our parents that we work with, not our
Mhm.
parents.
Well, them too.
Yeah. But just really saying, hey, your kids are going to go through hard things.
Yeah.
That is normal. I always say like perfection doesn't prevent pain.
Right.
Because I think we think
Yes.
that if
If
we
it's
engineer it
perfect.
all,
Yeah.
if we like build the bowling alley
Uh-huh.
and we make sure everybody is there who loves our kid and there's
Right.
all the right balls and all the right, shoes and all the right, everything, the lighting, it's all perfect, best music, right? Perfect bowling alley, that our kid won't get hurt. And then like
Uh-huh.
they drop the ball on their foot.
Right.
It's like you don't know.
You cannot orchestrate perfection.
No,
You cannot.
it's
And
exhausting.
expecting or even thinking that it exists is
Hmm.
exhausting, like you said.
Hmm.
And it all starts with you being able to do these things for yourself first.
Yeah. God, healing the places maybe in our own childhood and adolescence where we were excluded, or
We
like
were made fun
sometimes
of.
I have to heal personally from the ways that my family dynamic, like the trauma, the pain of my life, sort of did impact my opportunities
Yeah.
in terms of like where I was going to go to college, or whatever opportunities I could have had. And then so sometimes I find myself wanting to make sure I give my kids
Yeah.
all the things I didn't
Right.
have,
Uh-huh.
and all the like, emotional support I didn't have, and all of the physical things I didn't have, and like whatever. And thinking that that is going to make them okay.
Right.
And it's like, oh, no, no, no. I need to remind myself that those like were okay. I survived.
Mm-hmm.
I was okay. It actually
Yeah.
benefited me long
Yeah.
term.
Yeah.
And that I'm not creating pain and trauma with my children.
Exactly. Doing the best that you can.
Yeah. Like way
Uh-huh.
better. It's like, well, screw that. I'm doing
Oh,
better than I
absolutely.
can.
You are thriving and you're setting
Yes.
an amazing example for them.
Exactly. And I think that's the truth for all of the moms that like listen to podcasts. Like, listen, you're
Oh,
listening
yeah.
to a parenting podcast. Like, you're already like,
Exactly. You're already
check.
doing the thing.
You are. It's like you can just relax and be like, okay, I've done it. I'm doing enough. I just talked to a client the other day. I was like, what if you just went to 80-20? Like
Yeah.
80% of the time I've got it under, like we've got good
Yeah.
limits and routines, and I don't let them eat candy and play video games. It's like, okay, great. 80%, perfect.
Yeah.
Like B minus work is excellent.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And allowing yourself to be okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it comes down to putting less pressure on yourself first
Mm-hmm.
and believing that you are good enough
Yes.
right now as a parent, as a person. You are good enough. That doesn't mean that there are areas where you can improve and you can work on, but having sufficiency as a
Mm-hmm.
person and as a parent. And when you're able to show up as a parent feeling sufficient, your child will see that.
And they will feel sufficient. I just really
Yes,
believe that it's contagious,
it is.
like how we feel and think,
Yeah.
especially our kids. They borrow that, right? They don't know enough about the world. So
Mhm.
they, I say like their self concept is an inheritance. They inherit it from us at 12 years old. It's like, here are all the thoughts and feelings I have about you
Yeah.
and what I believe is possible for you. And it's like, if you imagined giving your kid a self concept in a gift box, like wrapped up, would you want it to be like, people don't like you, you work harder.
Exactly. Right.
If you're not
Thanks.
perfect, you're gonna be screwed in life.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, here's in this box of
Yeah.
crap. Like, no, we want it to be like as great of a box of self-concept, thoughts as we can.
Right.
And then
Right.
it's their job to then own those in adolescence. And
Right. And implement it.
yeah, and to practice, but they don't have to choose. I always
Uh-huh.
say, your kids get that box that you're their inheritance, right? Their self-concept inheritance. And it's
Uh-huh.
like they can either believe it
Yeah.
or not.
Yeah.
They can either think, you don't know me at all.
Right.
It could be full of good thoughts, and they
Mhm.
could somehow say, you don't know me at all, and choose a negative self-concept. That is their journey. And that's
Their
very
free will.
painful. It's
Yeah.
very painful as a parent.
Absolutely.
But if we give them a crappy one
Uh-huh.
and they're like, no, this is not who I am,
Yeah.
then they disregard the relationship. They're like, you don't know me.
Right.
So that, it's like, why give them a crappy one? Why take that risk?
Exactly. Give them a good box. And when you're this is something to always remember is that when you're feeling sufficient, you will not need validation from who your child is and who
Yeah.
they are not.
Yeah.
Because yes, it has something to do with you in that you are the person who is raising them, but they are their own person, especially as they're getting older.
Yeah.
And when you're able to feel sufficient, even when your child is misbehaving, or even when they make a poor choice or break the rules or do something dumb. Teens do dumb stuff all the time.
Or even when they're not included, even when they're not popular,
even when they
even
don't
when
make
they're,
a team.
yeah.
Yeah. And they don't get into the school, or they fail the test or they fail the class, that you're still good enough as a parent.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good takeaway for today for sure. Like, you can trust yourself that yeah, your self-worth, just in general, your self-worth is not predicated on your children's performance.
That's right.
Yeah. If you tie it to that, woo,
good luck.
Good luck, because that is going to be a roller coaster.
That's going to be a roller coaster I do not want to get on.
It's a terrorizing one.
It's not even fun.
No, not even fun.
No.
Not at all. No. And it's yeah. So we just really, I guess one of my takeaways for today as well for parents is like, we raise our kids in communities. We just do. And having a few like-minded moms around you, or dads too, where you've all decided to not buy in to performance-based parenting and to performance measurements for kids. Like, if you have some people, and it might take some courage in the beginning to say, we're not going to do all of that, like whatever that is, or we're not going to make sure our kids measure up in this way and that way and this way and whatever. That leadership is a risk, but there will be other people who come and are drawn to it, and trust that the other moms and dads are looking for ways out, because it all feels terrible. And so you're not the only one who feels this way. And once you start making these choices, you will find other people who are drawn to, oh, wow, we don't have to do that. And like, we can still be okay.
Yeah. It's feeling safe in doing what's right for you, what feels good for you, and trusting that your community is out there. You're not going to be on an island in it. And I would venture to say that the majority of parents are wanting that more than the ones that want to have the shiny gold medal.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
They just want their kids to be happy. And that every parent I talk to, that is all they want, is for their kid to be happy.
Yeah. And it doesn't come from the outside. That's the thing. I think if they could understand that happiness is not going to come from being invited to 100 parties.
No.
But when you are happy inside, you might get invited to 100 parties.
Exactly. Or you won't care if you're invited. If
you are invited, it won't matter.
You may not want to go.
What do they call it? Like sexy indifference?
Oh, I like that. That is a good one. I've never heard that.
It's like just being like, yeah, I don't know. Invite me or not. I'm
cool.
fine. It's cool. I'm good.
I'm good.
Either way. I want every kid to have that feeling of like, I'm good, whatever. It's fine. And they'll borrow it from parents. They just will.
Yeah. And they'll feel more confident when you're more confident. It all starts with you. And that, going back to that, it all starts with you. Knowing that you may walk into the bowling alley and it may be a mess. There may be balls that aren't completely spherical. The lighting may be bad. The music may suck, but you are still okay.
Yeah, exactly. And also, fuck bowling.
I know. I want to go bowling anyway.
Sometimes just be like, we don't even like bowling. Goodbye. Yeah.
Maybe I want to go to the trampoline park. Maybe I want to go to the beach.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. I think we should end with fuck bowling.
I like that. That's a perfect ending. That's our advice for this fine podcast episode.
This is just such a good episode. All right. So how do people find you?
Yes. So my podcast is called Raising Happy Teens, and I can be found on Instagram at jennifer.delliquadri. My website is jenniferdelliquadri.com. And I'm also on TikTok, jennifer.delliquadri. All of the above.
And
what about you? Where can my friends find you?
My podcast is Become a Calm Mama, and my website is calmmamacoaching.com. And so that's the best one-stop shop to find out all about me. If I'm on Instagram at Darlin Childress, lots of parenting stuff on there.
Perfect. So fun to
Yeah.
talk with you.
Yes. I always love our conversations.
So fun. Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
I will see you soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Hey, Mama, if you enjoyed this podcast episode, I want to encourage you to do two things. The first is go to my website, calmmamacoaching.com, and get a copy of the Stop Yelling cheat sheet. You'll get a step-by-step breakdown of the most important tool I teach, which is the pause break. And you'll also get 40 ideas to reset your body and balance your nervous system so you don't have to yell at your kids. You can get a copy of that, again, at my website, calmmamacoaching.com/stop yelling. The other thing I'd love for you to do is go to Apple Podcasts and rate and review this podcast so that other moms can discover empowering and helpful, practical parenting strategies, just like you did today. Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. It means a lot to be in your ear every week and to support you on your parenting journey.